We made dear friends who died while we were there. One was a woman, a corsetière, who was as plump and jolly as her trade. But the deep nights were ours alone. Stars rained continuously and slowly like huge roses, and once a fragrant orange grove came floating down past our window as we lay in awe. Our hearts were speechless as we saw them fall extinguished with a hiss in the black lake. 1,000 lanterns hidden under drapes. Don't imagine there were never times of listening gently to the night's tremendous silence, side by side, untouching, or at least only his hand softly brushing the mount. He said, reminding him of ferns he hid and roamed in as a boy. I learned a lot about you from his whispers then. You and his mother stood beside the bed. Sunsets, the pink and drifting clouds, flowers, churning off snowy peaks. The white autumn was turning. My breasts were spinning into dusk. His tongue churned every sunset in my barking cant, and my throat drank his juice. It turned to milk, or milk came into being for his lips. For the second night, my breasts were bursting. Love in the afternoon had made us thirsty. He drained a glass of wine and stretched across. I opened up my dress and my H shut. A gash out even before his mouth has closed upon my nipple, and I let the old kind priest who dined with us take out the other. The guests were gazing with a kind of wonder, but smilingly, as if to say, you must. For nothing in the white altar but love is offered at a price we can afford. The chef stood beaming in the open door. The milk was too much for 2 men. The chef came through and held the glass under my breast. Draining it off, he said that it was good. We complimented him. The food was cooked as tenderly as he had ever been. More glasses came. The guests demanded cream, and the hot, thirsty band, the falling light, spread butter suddenly on the trees outside. The great French windows, butter on the lake. The old kind priest kept sucking me. He craved his mother, who was dying in Islam. My other breast fed other lips, your son's. I felt his fingers underneath the table. stroking my thighs. My thighs were open, shaking. We had to rush upstairs. His prick was up me, and my cunt began to flood. Even before we reached the top, the priest had left to lead the mourners through the trees to the cold mountainside. We heard the chants receding down the shore. He took my hand and slid my fingers up beside him there. Our other friends, the plump corsetier, slid hers in too. It was incredible, so much in me, yet still I was not full. They bore the bodies from the flood and the fire on carts. We heard them rumbling through the pines and fade to silence. I pulled up her skirts, for she was so gripped by her belt it hurt, and let him finish it in her. It seemed no different, for love ran without a seam, from lake to sky, to mountain, to our room. We saw the line of mourners in the gloom of the peaks' shadows, standing by the trench. A breeze brought in a memory of the scent, a memory of the scent of orange groves and the roses, falling through this universe of secrets. Mothers swooned, crumping into the muddy earth. A bell tolled from the church behind the white altar, halfway up the slope. Words of hope came floating from the priest. A lonely man stood on the lake beside the nets, his hat held to his breast. We heard a thunderclap. The peak, held up a moment by their chants, hung in mid-air, then fell, an avalanche, burying the mourners and the dead. The echo died away. I shan't forget the silence as it fell, a cataract of darkness. For that night the white lake drank the sunlight swiftly, and there was no moon. I think he penetrated to her womb. She screamed a joyful scream, and her teeth bit my breast so hard it floored beds of milk.